Hey guys, hope you are all having a fantastic weekend. I had to take a day off yesterday, because I have been making 1 to 2 videos every single day for over a month and I was way over exhausted. Today we are back on the roll. I got a great set of content for you guys this week, especially for the morning video series starting on Wednesday. Today is Sunday, and I don't want to overload you guys with too much information on the weekend, so I am going to keep this video limit to discussing 3 different topics in detail, while also quickly going through a smaller bullish updates. We are going to talk about the recent developments coming from Credit Suisse. We are also going to quickly go over what is going on with Bank of America. There has been a lot of small concerning developments as of late, with many locations closing, and I want to give my 2 thoughts on it. And then I want to talk about where I think it is more likely that we head into this week. As you can see, we have a lot of good content to go over and I don't want to waste any more time. Before we start, let me quickly state that I am not a financial advisor, and that all content discussed in this channel is simply information gathered that I deem important for people to know, so that they can make informed decisions. All efforts are aimed to better understand the nature of the current market in anticipation of the greatest squeeze in financial history. Let's get started. First and foremost, let's begin with the biggest set of news today. Swiss police raided Credit Suisse as part of the Greensill investigation. The bank disclosed having raided the bank as part of cooperating with authorities into the investigation of the collapsed finance firm Greensill Capital. A quick recap of what happened: Greensill tumbled into insolvency back on March of this year. The once valued $4 billion firm's failure had a pretty big impact on Credit Suisse. They ran $10 billion in investment funds that financed Greensill's supply chain. Credit Suisse has so far recovered around $7 billion of that original $10 billion investment. Allegedly, the Switzerland's Economic Affairs Department filed a criminal complaint alleging unfair competition violations related to Greensill, and hence prompted investigative efforts to be extended into raiding the Credit Suisse offices. The Zurich public prosecutor nor the Economic Affairs Department didn't immediately respond to requests for comments. The spokesperson for Greensill also declined to comment. Now, the question many of you have is, what does this have to do with the squeeze? Greensill has nothing to do with GameStop directly per se, but it does gives us a glimpse at the sad state of affairs by which big financial institutions are overleveraged with collateralized loans. This is a great example of how quickly many of the financial institutions are going to start getting chopped off once they are unable to maintain certain margin requirements or liquidity. It will be incredibly fast once things start going haywire, because remember, the whole squeeze works by having many small dominoes fall simultaneously to the point they cause bigger dominoes to drop. Once they get to a market maker or big bank such as Goldman Sachs or Bank of America, get ready for Lambo Town. It's a long process made incredibly frustrating due to the amount of freedom that Wall Street has been able to afford itself. They have their own little exchange, they have dark pools, they route orders wherever they want and have a solid state of operations by which they can afford to finance their operations for a while. It will take a big hit to undo this, which is why I think the biggest squeeze triggers are a big market crash, a GameStop withdrawal from the DTCC to implement NFT dividends, or simply time. Time alone will certainly cause demise, because as more people buy it will become increasingly harder to hide the obvious from the public. Time also affords DRS to accrue and also push the same squeeze button. I remain incredibly bullish on all meme stocks, but remember to adapt your expectations that in order to get to Lambo Town, it will require plenty of patience and endurance. This is a marathon, not a sprint, so do keep your plans in accordance to that. Bank of America has been making tons of noise as of late, with many of their locations being closed all of a sudden. This has grown a ton of chatter that they are done or are being forced to close shop because of failure to meet some type of financial requirement. Let me once again be the voice of disappointment and announce that Bank of America is not going out of business yet. The fact is that we have seen this type of incredibly weird phenomenon happen many times before this same year. Whether as a restructuring to comply to new guidelines implemented by, say, the CDC, or to accommodate some type of change, there is no reason to be alarmed over this in my opinion. Now, let me also state that Bank of America's silence over this is incredibly suspicious, and that I too have to agree that there is something going on, but that I cannot attribute this to the squeeze because as of right now I have zero evidence to go from to arrive at such point. I love speculating more than anybody I know, but I also like to keep myself grounded in facts, and until I am able to gather some evidence into this, I do not want to jump overboard. However, I do want to mention something. In a video I did months ago, I talked about swaps in the horrible bet that I speculated Bank of America had taken on when they created a synthetic swap to bet against GameStop's ability to pay off their loan. Upon GameStop consolidating this great debt, Bank of America has taken a brunt hit to which I think right now greatly overvalues the entire capitalization of this giant institution. The delay of the squeeze has been nothing more than a deal to delay the inevitable at the behest of undoing themselves in the process. My only question is that if something related to this delay has forced them to start closing shop. Until we hear from Bank of America, we can only speculate. But at the same time, I do not take any Wall Street institution's word as a true statement, as I have grown to know that anything and everything they say is a fabricated lie to hide their vicious positions. As far as I know, Bank of America is in tremendous danger if things start getting out of control, and I speculate market makers might be in trouble too because I think it more likely that they are scared of being margin called by the banks than the DTCC itself, since they can simply borrow money from the Fed at incredibly low rates to pay it off. But being margin called by the banks, who they know cannot default or play any slick tricks because it could spell disaster for them faster than they can say banana. Remain optimistic around this situation, but also remember to temper your convictions around this. This same closure of banks has happened a lot this same year, so let's also not jump the gun and start assuming things. All I need to know is banks are in a bad inescapable position that makes my tendies grow in value by the day, and that is enough for me to hold. Quick little update comes from the box office performance for the movie Venom, Let There Be Carnage. The move is set for a full $71 million opening weekend, making it the third biggest domestic opening for firms after March of this year. Guys, I find myself in a huge dilemma with this. You see, the Motley Fool told me that theaters were going to start closing later in the year, and that theatrical releases were going to be box office disasters. They told me to not invest in AMC, and instead suggested me some pump and dump stocks that are currently lower in value in comparison to the time when they suggested I should start buying. In all seriousness, the fact that people still listen to these outlets as authentic and expert opinion is hilarious to say the least. AMC is absolutely killing it with great performance, and investors are loving every dip that comes their way. AMC is an absolute goldmine, and whatever you buy can never be enough, because it keeps getting better and better. Theaters are not going anywhere, and neither are we. Let's talk about this week. AMC had a big surge on Thursday, but by Friday the stock found itself testing a big support wall at 38.27. It will be incredibly fun to watch how AMC performs this week. If we break the 38 support, AMC will dip to test 36.65. If overall market sentiment starts going down again this week, expect AMC to bottom all the way to 33.74 again, and expect it to break this support if we are testing it by Wednesday. However, if AMC is able to make a big up and break the 40 resistance, we could test 41.78. If we manage to break that resistance and consolidate above it, we could reach 44 and then 48. The fact that AMC was able to hold above 38 on Friday was a very bullish indicator for me that it has a ton of strength left. Right now, overall market sentiment is the variable that will be dictating where we go. Let's hope nothing major impacts us this week so we can consolidate. If we dip below $36, I would consider that a great point to start slowly accruing some tendies if you have been holding for a dip. GameStop has been going down for a while, and even that big surge on Thursday does not make me more confident that the stock will experience a reversal. I really like where GameStop is at, to be honest, and I am looking forward for a dip around 160 to start buying. It has strong support at 166 and then some around 160. After that, the previous support should be around 153. Resistance for this stock can be found at 185, 190 and then 200. GameStop looks a bit weaker from a technical standpoint, which is great to be honest. I want to catch this at the bottom as much as I can before another huge surge. If by Wednesday GameStop is still trading between 166 and 185, I will simply buy that. And that is all I have for today. Thank you all for watching. Again, I know I have grown accustomed to making videos every single day of the week, but I had to take a day off. I was extremely exhausted and needed a break. I had ton of fun, and I hope you guys also basked in some fun outdoor activities. I still can't believe we made it to 50,000 subscribers. Thank you all so much. The support and love from this community has been life-changing. I keep being asked how I am going to treat you guys during the squeeze. I think it would be a good idea if I started live streaming. I would be live streaming all trading hours once we start squeezing, so you guys won't be alone at all. I think every channel will be live streaming, to be honest, so you will have plenty of channels to pick from. Let me know if this is something you would like for me to do in the comments below. If you want to support the channel, I have left links in the description for my Patreon if you would like to pledge a monthly support of any amount you want. I also left a PayPal and Cash App link if you want to make a one-time donation. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and to the moon.